By the end of this decade, 2 in 3 job openings will require some higher education. 2 in 3. And yet we still live in a country where too many bright, striving Americans are priced out of the education they need. It's not fair to them, and it's sure not smart for our future. And that's why I'm sending this Congress a bold new plan to lower the cost of community college to 0.
That was one of the big proposals from the State of the Union on Tuesday. 2 free years of community college, and there are a lot of good things about this. It could help stem the tide of crushing student loan debt, which now tops $1 trillion. And our next guest argues some dream jobs that are available right now only require a 2-year associate's degree. But with half of recent college graduates currently unemployed and over 3 million jobs unfilled, is 2 years of free college enough? Nicholas Wyman is an expert in matching qualified workers with open jobs. He's also the author of JobU, How to Find Wealth and Success by Developing the Skills Companies Actually Need. Thank you so much for being with us.
Well,
such an important topic.
Great to be here.
You're from Australia, so I love hearing advice from someone who's not from the U.S. But the big question that we all ask ourselves right now is, how do we remain competitive in the 21st century? And he's proposing 2 years of free college. Is that the right next step? Is that enough?
Look, I think that you really need to look at what's going on outside the borders of the US. We've got this technological change, we've got globalisation, and all bets are off. I mean, the way that people are having to do business is changing, and employers are having to react. And one of the challenges is that the education systems are just not adapting to this change. So this is why you've been talking about this mismatch, you know, high unemployment, yet we've got this enormous amount of jobs. There's 600,000 unfilled jobs just in manufacturing. But it's not old school manufacturing, you know, advanced manufacturing.
Well, I was going to ask you, what are the most needed jobs, and what are the minimum requirements, the minimum skills to get them?
Well, look, I think there's an enormous amount of jobs out there where 2 years of community college is a great stepping stone. And I think it's about the right education at the right time. But really what I think the President's talking about is engaging people. And to have a productive economy, you need to have people engaged at all levels. There's very high youth unemployment, and I think that it's really important to connect people to the world of work, and a community college is a great place to do that. So there is something in this for every person in the country. It's about setting up the next generation of workers and the next generation of taxpayers.
Yeah. I mean, what about the problem? People say that a 4-year degree is becoming less about sort of the skills and the ability to do a job when you come out of it, and more about just a signal to employers. That doesn't seem like a positive development to me. Does giving people free education, does that help with that issue? It's
look, it's an expensive signal. I mean, the average student loan debt, $30,000. I was speaking to a young lady last night, $85,000 she has in debt. Now, if we had an $85,000 debt hanging over our head, I mean, that's a lot of money to pay back before you even get to go. And I think it's very much got to be, as I said, about this idea of the right education. And for people who know where they want to go with 4-year college, great. Go do that if it ends up in a job.
Like a specialised skill.
A specialised skill if you know where you want to go. But there is thousands and thousands of people who enrol.
Or if you want to be a poet.
Well, you know, exactly. You've got to look at what the jobs are, and I think that one of the huge things that the President's trying to do here is look at correcting this labour market mismatch. Now, I must say, straight up front, nothing's ever free. This is money coming from the taxpayer's purse, so it's about where is this money going to come from, and I think that I think there's money in the system, and it's about how the taxpayer's money is best invested. So any of this money needs to be spent really addressing where the skill shortage industries are. So I think that's going to be the key.
But if there is this skills gap, this skills mismatch situation where employers aren't able to find the employees that they want, shouldn't they just lift wages? I mean, wouldn't that? And we haven't seen any increase in wages. Yeah,
look, there's a slow movement of wages, but I think you make a great point there. This is not government's problem alone, and really, the President was talking about looking at the skills required out to 2030. I mean, businesses need to take a view. You know, in my business, I'm looking out 10, 15 years ahead to build a strong labour pipeline. And I think that it's really about, you know, if you look at the cycles of government, they're fairly short. I think employers really have to step up to the plate and have to say, well, what am I going to do to invest in skills programs? Now, wages is one area for sure, no problem. You need to remain competitive. But I also think it's about offering on-the-job training. I mean, a lot of people are very interested in getting a job and then actually getting some skills whilst they're in a company.
Does your company struggle with finding people that have the skills?
Absolutely. All around the world. You know, I work in about 6 countries, and in every country, this is the same problem. The world, this globalisation. And so I practice what I preach. Not only do I talk and write about this, I actually started as an apprentice because the type of learning that I needed was very much this hands-on style. I like to learn by doing. So an apprenticeship path was right for me. And then I ended up at Harvard Business School. So I don't think that people need to look at this silo, which often goes on. They say, should I select going to community college? Should I go to 4-year college? Should I go and get a job? I think the answer is you can have it all.
Yeah. Nicholas Wyman, such an important conversation. We've got to get it right. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much.